Why haven't I talked about Stephen King before? 2.5 years of this show, and I've barely talked about arguably one of the most important writers of the 20th and 21st century. Seriously, do I need to explain it? You've seen this man's body of work, right? Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Shining, The Stand, The Dead Zone, Cujo, Christine, Pet Sematary, It, Misery, and that's not even getting into his Richard Bachman short stories and every other thing he's ever written. So how could I have barely talked about him? 'Cause I've barely read him. Why? 'Cause King is known for his horror stories, and I am the biggest scaredy cat I know of. Hell, I wasn't allowed to read Goosebumps because they were scary. Do you know how much on therapy sessions my parents saved banning me from reading Stephen King as a kid? So I'm coming into his work as a newbie. I've seen several of the films, but I've only to this point read 2 other novels and 1 short story collection I actually never got around to finishing. I should fix that. But that leaves the question of which of King's novels to start with. And the answer was simple. Gerald's Game. What's Gerald's Game? I don't know. This is hardly brought up when talking about King's work. But I do know I have a fan who kept on commenting that I should read it for several months, and when it stopped commenting, even though I planned reviews out months in advance. And each week it would be, read Gerald's Game, read Gerald's Game, read Gerald's Game, till it became the only thing I could hear in my head and would hover over me at night like a monstrous shadow, keeping me up till I gave in to read the goddamn book! So here we are. I may be over-exaggerating a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, my name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to Bookworm Reviews. Sit back and relax as we dive into Gerald's Game by the one and only Stephen King. So Jessie and her husband Gerald's marriage has been going through a rough patch for the last year or 5, which has made them distant and, more importantly, the sex non-existent. That is until Gerald's able to obtain 2 pairs of handcuffs. He convinces Jessie to play a little game with him, where he chains her up to the bed and he does to her whatever he pleases. It reinvigorates Gerald's sex life, but for Jessie, it's just pointless. Even when the two go on vacation in their summer house in Maine, oh no, I am not playing that. I would barely make it past the first 50 pages. Even at their summer home, she's just done with it. This has lost a lot of its charm for me, and it never had that much to begin with, she did not add. She asks for Gerald to, for the love of God, take the goddamn handcuffs off her. Gerald, though, you are so goddamn inconsistent, so goddamn sarcastic. I love you, Jess, but I hate the goddamn lip on you. I always had. Okay, it's clear you two have some serious issues to discuss. Let's calmly let Jessie go, and we can work this out like rational adults. What if I won't? Oh right, this is a Stephen King novel. Everyone's an asshole! Well, now Gerald plans to rape Jessie against her will and play it off as them just playing Gerald's game.
He said it!
But what he doesn't realize is that in doing so, he's awakened something deep within Jessie. A terrible, dark something that causes her to kill Gerald by kicking him in the balls. Well, okay, not like that. She actually kicks him in the balls and stomach, which she discovers is where his tidal breath is. Tidal breath, the fabled last gasp of drowners and chokers. Once you expel that, you either faint or... Gerald! She cried in a sharp scolding voice. Gerald, breathe! Which in turn causes him to fall out of bed and crack his head open. But in essence, she killed him by kicking him in the balls. Okay, so you just accidentally killed your husband of 20 years. It happens. You're rich. You can just hire a good lawyer and have it all straightened out. Oh wait. She's still handcuffed to the bed, isn't she? And her summer house is far away from any form of civilization too. Oh my god! It said, oh my god! I am all alone out here! I am all alone! Well, that would be pretty terrifying all by itself. But since Jessie has no one but herself, She starts to hear voices in her head telling her about the situation. She had always heard voices inside her head. She guessed everyone did, although people usually don't talk about them, any more than they talked about their bowel functions. Oh, thank God! I thought I was crazy always talking to myself. You are crazy! Quiet, you. And those voices start to uncover the dark past of Jessie, how it led her to the situation, and whether or not she'll survive. And that's Gerald's game. How is it? Oh my God, this book is amazing! In all honesty, the concept is so simple. It's just a woman chained to her bed alone with her dead husband. And that's pretty much it. Think of it like 50 Shades of Grey meets 127 Hours. But what makes the book work is that while the premise is simple, the execution is complex. King is able to take simple things like trying to get a glass of water that's above Jessie and turn it into over 30 pages of nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat thrills. Yes, really! And a lot of the horrors in the book are generally simple. It's a really grounded book. Like when a stray dog enters the house to eat her husband. Yeah. But there's also a psychological factor in play. From the beginning, you can tell that there's something going on in Jessie's head. And not just from the voices, but that something really hurt her. Something that would haunt her to this very moment. That would lead her to this moment. You can pretty much guess what it is early on, and King will dick around a lot with what happened. But when you learn what it is... Jesus. While I haven't read too much of King's work, I can tell that this is some of the tightest writing I've read. It hits you in all the right places, building an ever-growing fear as Jessie gets more desperate, leading to one of the most disturbing scenes I've ever read. You thought the foot in misery was bad? Brother, you ain't seen nothing yet. And what's interesting is just how feminist this book is. Good portions of the novel are used to explore how Jessie, through no fault of her own, was forced to submit herself to the men in her life. And King is blunt about it. Like if this came out right now, GGers and men's rights activists would harass King like so many others. But the book doesn't stop there. Just when you think King can't do anymore, he pulls out one more trump card when he shows that Jessie is not alone in the house. And... rule of thumb, don't read this before going to bed. And have a nightlight. The only real issue I had was the ending. There's nothing bad about it, but it's nearly 50 pages of King wrapping up the story that lessens some of the impact of the book overall, because it's a big old exposition dump. But other than that, this book is great. It will chill you to the bone and give you sleepless nights. But it is all worth it when it's as brilliant as this. What about you, Internet? What's your opinion about Gerald's game? A special shout out to George Harrington for suggesting the book. Thank you for your support. This was a great read. If you have a book you would like me to review, let me know in the comments below. Okay, I have to do more Stephen King on this show. Maybe a month next year. But next month is October. Halloween. You know what that means? No. I bet you were thinking we return to Goosebumps. But this year, we're doing something similar, but a little different. A look at a little town with a horrific history, where your worst nightmares live. Till next time, have a scary day.